I am very excited to announce our next speaker. She is someone that I've known for a few years, and I've had the pleasure of watching her grow as a journalist. I knew her in Los Angeles when she was a reporter covering technology for LA Weekly, and she has since moved up to San Francisco and has moved her way into the position of co-editor at TechCrunch. And great to see how she's grown and to see how many hearts that she breaks in addition to news. But her name is Alexia Tsotsis, and I'm very happy to have her come up here and join us.
Hi, everybody. All right, I'm going to read to you something that I read over the weekend. Quite possibly one of the most ridiculous lead paragraphs the New York Times has ever written. Men invented the internet, and not just any men. Men with pocket protectors, men who idolized Mr. Spock and cried when Steve Jobs died. Nerds, geeks. Give them their due. Without men, we would never know what our friends were doing 5 minutes ago. All right, if you look at Y Combinator's statistics, yeah, it's true that 96% or 96.6% of the companies that get accepted to Y Combinator are founded by males. It's also really true that women are a super, super duper minority in the tech space. It's true that it's more difficult for a female to raise funding. And the reason I know this is true because I hear them complain to me. But what's not true is that it doesn't have to be this way in the future. I think the reason I was invited to speak here is because a woman named Penelope Trunk had written a post on TechCrunch called "Stop Telling Women to Do Startups." And her premise was that there weren't any women in tech because women didn't want to be in tech. I actually think that that's not the case. I think there aren't very many women in tech because there hasn't been very many women in tech in the past. And we just don't see role models from which to model our own careers. I know that when I was deciding whether to major in art and English or math and science, I didn't think it would be sexy to be a programmer. And so I decided to do English because that was a traditionally female role. Even me, and I'm part of a generation where supposedly these things have changed. So how many of you in this room are founders? So another thing I was doing while preparing for this talk was thinking, okay, what the fuck do I know about being a female founder? Nothing. I'm not one. I haven't taken the risk. And I was trying to sit with myself and think, okay, why haven't you founded a company? Well, it's kind of scary. I think it's not very profitable in the thing that I'm particularly good at, media. To be a founder, media companies traditionally have very low exits. Mine exited for an amount that was reported as, in my opinion, something very low. It wouldn't work to take the risk. But for those of you that have done it, show of hands, because I want this to be a discussion, because honestly, I don't know why there's not that many female founders, other than the fact that there aren't that many. Show of hands, what did you think was the biggest obstacle to becoming a founder and to founding a startup? And how can women in the future get over this hurdle? So anyone want to share their story? Somebody please, set an example. Oh, Sklar, where were you? That's who I was looking for.
Hello, you've seen me today. My name is Sklar. I recently started a company called The List with my colleague Lindsay Figgle. We started Mediaite, but we did the
So so we're traditionally paid 1/3 less than males across the board on average in most professions. Is this just applying that 1/3 less to VC? Like you can count VC as a salary in that sense? No. We're paid 5% less than men? No, but in terms of amount of capital. Like for every $1 million a man raises, we're raising 666K. Is that, it's a question I'm asking, so why are women just traditionally bad with money? You, Catherine.
Much longer discussion. This isn't my talk, but I think, whoa, hello.
It's always your talk, Rachel.
I think that there are natural, casual conversations around money that men naturally, casually have amongst themselves that women do not have. And so there are massive information asymmetries around money that widen over time for women. That is something that I have come to believe based on my own experience. I used to be a corporate lawyer, so I have some experience. The guys in my law school all graduated and somehow knew about money in a way that the woman did not. Anyhow, over to you.
Catherine, you had something to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to add something that I thought was really interesting. I found a study over the weekend, actually, wherein a team of business school professors created 2 fictional companies, identical performance reviews, identical teams, identical financials, except they changed the gender of certain team members, and found pretty conclusively that both business students and venture groups rated teams led by a female CEO, which only the name was different, to be about 1/3 less of an interesting investment opportunity, and commiserately, they recommended a lower salary for that fictional executive. I think it's very, very hard in venture capital to actually get hard data. I actually was in the most recent Y Combinator class, and the data around which companies were funded at what level isn't available publicly, nor is it for previous classes. But I do think if you were able to have that data, there's strong suspicions among many people, myself included, that you would see venture capitalists simply less interested in funding businesses run by women for a variety of reasons, one of which is that they often get the lifestyle moniker, one of which is that they're often not seen as ambitious enough or driven enough because the typical markers of those traits are not always applied to women in the same way. Anyway, I'll end it there.
So it's that 1/3 gap of respect, I guess. So it's the same third. We're just automatically 1/3 away from whatever being equal to a man or whatever. It makes sense. I mean, the money thing, Rachel. I think it's not sexy to sit there and take out your T183 and like do your finances. I'm not doing it. I could be way better with money. I'm a tech editor, so I could ostensibly do a way better for myself, but I've ignored it because I think there's this latent hope with women, and Penelope brought this up in her post, that a guy will take care of us. Someone asked me what I was going to do after TechCrunch, and it was a guy that I liked, and he was like, so what are you going to do after this? And instead of saying, oh, I'm going to form my own company, or I'm going to go be a VC, which is what I want to do, I said, I'm going to have kids. Not what I was going to do in my career, even though I've slaved for a decade, working menial jobs and fighting my way through the sexism in the Valley to even be remotely respected. I said, I'm going to have kids. And I think the attitude is, that old school attitude of you can't have a startup if you have kids is so predominant. I bet you the first thing anyone will ask you, and maybe you're not, I don't think you're allowed to ask, but I bet you if you're a female founder and you're going in to pitch, the first thing on that guy's mind is, but what if you get pregnant? So is there anyone in here who has kids and either has a startup or runs a business and has managed to get over this attitude? Hi. What's your name? Is there a mic? What's your name? Kim? Rakan, okay. Yeah, it's coming. We're going to have a discussion like females. This is what we're going to do. Sorry for the males in this room. I know that you care, and I feel you, but... Raquel, stand up.
Hi, I'm Raquel.
Hi.
I don't know if we have the same situation here as in Iceland, but the only problem with the Icelandic women is that they don't stand up for themselves. And if they don't do that, they can't raise money because they don't ask for it. So I had the nerve and the opportunity to ask for it, and I got it. So I got grants and funding. So if you ask for it and you stand up and believe in yourself and what you're going to do, you can have funding and grants and whatever you like.
I think so too. I think a lot of times people bring up, there's been no female Mark Zuckerberg. Like I asked on Twitter 2 seconds ago, name one female founder or co-founder that's had a successful exit. Well, Arianna Huffington. I guess Katarina Fake. Ruchi Sanghavi from Cove, which sold to Dropbox for, I'm guessing, a ton of money. But we forget these women because men throw back, there's no female Mark Zuckerberg. There's no female that's built a company with billions of users or whatever Facebook has right now. And what people forget in that rhetoric is that Zuckerberg was an outlier. He was an exception. Whoever the female Mark Zuckerberg will be will also be such an outlier. You don't see many people doing that with their 20s, what Zuck did. Most people waste their 20s, myself included. And that kind of outlier is the person who, as what Sheryl Sandberg says, like steps up to the table, raises her hand. She said in a talk at TED Women the exact same thing, that women don't stand up for themselves. I think that this is 100% the cause of the way it's been, and is 100% a changeable characteristic. I mean, Silicon Valley is the future. We're building it right now. If you want to change culture, it's your responsibility. Like, I'm looking at this stuff and saying, and yes, it's vomitous to stand up for yourself. Every time I've done it, I've wanted to throw up. It makes me feel so nervous. Still, if I ask for a raise or more budget or anything, I feel like, oh, this is unfeminine. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. But, you know, if you've got a vision and you're passionate about the vision, you just really have to not give a fuck. Like, you really have to get over it. There are very few people, male or female, that can do that. And because of the way gender is structured in our society, there are especially very few females. And that's where role models come in. So are there any females here who'd like to be founders? Okay, can somebody tell me what's stopping you? Money? Lack of? Okay, so I don't know if you guys have read. Go for it. That's what we're doing here.
So I'm a woman founder, and to the question that you asked earlier, right? What were the obstacles you faced? I don't think any in reality, because I never really thought of it that I'm a woman and I'm founding something or I'm starting. It's, you know, when you work alongside your male colleagues and you never really think of yourself as a woman, think of yourself as a professional and you want to be treated accordingly. Same thing happened when I started the startup. And in fact, it was an advantage being a woman because in the Silicon Valley, when you employ people for equity and get them to work on your team, they implicitly have a greater trust in you being a woman. And especially you having done stuff professionally, so they believe in you and that, yeah, you can take somewhere. Ironically though, I think what stops women and the biggest hurdle is that the self-fulfilling prophecy that, oh, we are women and we are about to start something and there are all these hurdles, men are not going to give us money and we are going to fail. And the prime example was, I was at this conference and I was talking to this woman founder who is the CEO of an incubator, and I just shared my story with her, and I said, what's some advice that you would like to share with somebody who's just starting out? And I was really shocked and very disappointed at the advice. She said, oh, you need to go get a male co-founder. And I was like, I have spent and slogged 1 year, built a team of 8 people who believe in me, believe in the vision, and we are all slogging it out. And instead of offering insights on how we can take it to the next level, this is the advice. So I said, okay, thank you for your advice. But well, she said, I don't think you agree with it. I was like, I don't think so. So I think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, us being told that, oh, we are women, and so we are going to get this huge resistance in terms of raising money. No, in fact, I have talked to venture capitals. I haven't yet asked for money because I wanted to take the product up to a certain point myself because we believed, the whole team believed in the idea. But they have been so very forthcoming in terms of advice, in terms of guidance, and giving their time without knowing whether they're going to invest in it or not. But great mentors, and never really treated me as a woman. If at all, maybe if it's an elderly VC, he would treat you perhaps like a daughter and give you advice and guidance, what to do, what not to do, where the pitfalls are. People just come in droves if we believe that we have the capability to do it. If we ourselves are doubting ourselves, saying, oh, we are women, we can't do it, then, well, why is the whole world going to believe in us? So I think it is this basic thing. I think we need to take it out of our system that, oh, we are a woman and we are about to do something. It's like, no, we are a professional in this valley. And if other people perceive us as a woman, and because of that we have some shortfalls, well, I think it's their problem. But if we ourselves believe, then we take on that problem ourselves, and I think that is the biggest hurdle from what I see.
I mean, if it's not a problem, why is the guy telling you to have a male co-founder?
That wasn't a guy.
Oh,
That
okay.
was a woman founder telling me,
Amazing.
which was the sad irony of it.
You know what? I have a male partner, co-editor, Eric Eldon, and there are times where I am super grateful to have him, because there really is sort of like a bro culture, and the guys like to hang out with each other and have drinks and talk guy things, and I feel like men really care about competition and really that's my phone, so I'm rudely interrupting myself. Men really care about competition. They really care about winning. They really care about seeming smart, and I sort of don't care about these things. And as an editor of a tech blog, you sort of have to care, or you don't get any traffic, because most of your traffic is through like conflict posts or things that take a huge stand and blogger infighting, and I really don't care. And I'm happy to have Eric Eldon, because he sort of like takes all that guy energy and channels it. And so I can sit there and take my girl energy and be like, okay, well, how does Apple and Google like find peace? Or how can we cooperate to make our team get better? And so I feel at an advantage with a male co-founder, because the men who would automatically disregard me all of a sudden respect Eric, and it just takes a load off my hands. I agree with you that the discussion isn't, oh, being a female is such an obstacle, blah, blah. And it's more like, we believe in ourselves. We don't need a male. If we have a male, it's because we want him and he's helpful. And that plays into the culture of Silicon Valley, where you're never a victim, right? To sit there and to be like, oh, I'm not getting VC money because I'm Greek, or I'm not getting VC money for anything, or because I'm short, or because I have my hair in a bun. That plays into, oh, out of time? Oh man, this was fun. That's what happens when women just talk. My biggest point is, don't play into the victim culture. If you're going to complain, make it a productive conversation. Don't sit there and feel hurt because you feel like your femininity or your gender is limiting you. Break the limits. Change the rules, and I guess change the ratio. Bye, guys.